And you would likely want to create a few new pages that are blank and place these images. Now we're learning a lot about InDesign and doing this, even though we're kind of doing them for sketches. So I am going to go to my class folder and I am going to grab from my exercise 2B, oops, I should have put those in there. In my image research, I'm going to grab max one. I think I only do one of these at a time. Open that, pop him in here. He's not real big. Now the bad thing about this is he's not real good resolution. If I zoom in, he's a little pixelated, but he'll work for me redrawing him. That's what I'm going to do. And then maybe on a separate page, I'll place. I'll go to File, Place, which is Control D. I'll place the older Max. Now that'll probably be a larger graphic. He still looks pixely, but just like type, if you want to change the size of graphic, hold down Shift and Command or Shift and Control, depending on if you're Mac on a PC. Click and drag. Let off the mouse first, then let off of the Shift Control. So Shift Control, click and drag. Now, sometimes in InDesign, by default, to make it run quicker, it will show images kind of in a low resolution. If you want that a little sharper, right-click on the image with the selection tool. Go to Display Performance in the flyout menu and choose High Quality Display. Now, I don't know if it's going to increase its resolution or appearance, improve its appearance or not. Let's find out. It could be that the image is low resolution, doesn't have that many pixels, and it didn't sharpen it up any. Okay, so if I went to print this right now, it would be pixelated, and normally that's not a good thing. Usually these need to be 300 pixels per inch. I want to make sure that was actually high quality. How do I know what the resolution is effectively? If I go to my links panel and I click on Max 2, he's only, effectively, because I reduced him down, he's only 115 pixels an inch. That's not very good. 300 pixels per inch is what we want for printing at the size that we intend to use him. So if I wanted to use him this large, he's not high enough resolution. When I will know when he's high enough resolution when my effective PPI goes to 300. So let's reduce him down. Let's see, there's 159. There's 318. All right, 300 pixels per inch is what I'm looking for. So more or less, I'm close. I'm at 296. So if I were actually using this picture and not using it to illustrate from, some of you guys don't want to illustrate, that's fine, but maybe you wanted to use a picture. That is as large as I could use that particular picture in my 10 by 10 layout without it pixelating, okay? It says it's almost 300 pixels per inch. It came in at 72, but when I reduced it down, it increases the number of pixels per inch because the pixels get smaller. On this guy, he's 72 pixels per inch. His effective pixels per inch is 72. If I wanted to use this in my layout, it needs to be reduced down so that it goes down to 300. So I'm going to get Shift Control, click and drag, and here I'm at 160, and now at 256. Right here's the number I'm looking at, and I'm going to take it down somewhere. I may need to research this image again and try to find a higher resolution one. But this image now is still not quite 300. I'm about 319 now. But in a 10 by 10 layout, this image I grabbed from the internet because it's so low res and it's pretty small. That's as big as I can use it if I'm going to use it as a photograph. Its effective pixels per inch is 319 at this size. If I blow it up, it gets really pixelated. Like right now, the pixels per inch is 64. That's low res. I don't know how many of you have had intro to computer graphics or raster software classes, Photoshop, but you have to have high resolution graphics for if we were going to print this, and even to look at it on the monitor, we don't want it all pixely. Okay, so I may have to do more research if I'm going to use these photos in my final layout. But how I'm going to use these photos is I'm going to use them to create my own artwork. And now you do not have to do this, but I'm also going to use them to sketch from. So, you know, just to provide the thumbnails. Now, normally I would print these out, but again, if you don't have a printer, luckily I had some prints that I had prepared for the class prior to having to leave the college. And not, you know, I don't go to Indianapolis. I haven't been to Indianapolis since March. But if you don't have the printouts, you can always again use your tape your tracing paper to your monitor, and carefully, lightly, you know, trace things. It's like a light box. I don't know if you've ever used a light table before, but you know, the light emitted from your computer, you know, you can, with the tracing paper over it, you can see right through it. So it'd be perfect as long as you don't press too hard. Okay, so ultimately I would print all of this stuff out. Maybe not so much these boxes, but then again, there's might be some nice surprises there that I come up with my sketches. So I'd print these out, print all my type samples out, maybe set the title a few different ways too. I'm still gathering assets, guys. The research process and the preparation process is it should take some time. So here I'm going to also grab this Helvetica word. I would want to create a few pages with that word pasted in there. Let me zoom back in here. And I would want to do that in a variety of sizes and also possibly a variety of styles. So there's black, here's heavy, let me do bold, and then I'll do, there's heavy, let's see, bold. I'll do, I think medium would be the next, let's find out. So 75 is bold, 65 is medium, and then there's probably after medium there's Roman, and from there you have a skinnier one. So it goes light, and I'm just alt dragging, by the way, alt or option on a Mac, click and drag, and then I just triple click in here and it highlights it, and I go and choose the next one. So I had light, there's thin, and I think that's probably about as far as it goes as far as the thicknesses. I don't think there's, nope, there's an ultralight. All right. So here I have Helvetica set in a sample from the darkest, thickest style, which is black, to the lightest, thinnest style, which is extra light. Okay, and then I believe there is supposed to be an extra black, but we don't have it loaded right now. So I will set this several ways. So when I'm sketching, I have a lot of different options available. So I'm going to paste them here. So I copied and pasted. These might be all lowercase. So I might go ahead and change these so they all have the lowercase. I can also have them be all uppercase. So in that case, I'll take these, copy them, go to a new page, paste them, could paste them in place. And then here I would have to go in and click on all caps. The only problem is the boxes are, oops, excuse me, the boxes are too, excuse me, let me select those again. Click on the type tool, go to all caps, and now I have to, excuse me, modify the boxes, excuse me. Oh my goodness, all caps has taken up a lot of space. So maybe I should have done that one first. Let me hit the W key so I can see what in the world I have. So I know it sounds kind of like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of work. Well, guys, I'm telling you, this job of going into graphics, whether it's photography, illustration, game development, graphic design, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of little tedious stuff. And you get quicker and better at it as you go, but you don't want to, you know, as soon as you skip steps, well, the next guy didn't, or the next gal didn't skip steps, and their stuff looks better in their portfolio because they didn't skip steps and they took the time to completely explore, and they may have, and it may show, it likely will. So be very careful not to get lazy, okay? If you want to, you know, you might even take all these, group them, which is Control G, copy them, paste them, and make some smaller ones. Again, that's Shift Command, click and drag. Now I've got a whole small batch of them. So, you know, I'm just getting my assets together and getting enough to sketch with, okay? Now, if you have a printer, this is nice because then you can print these out. Now, if you are going to print these out and use them to create thumbnails, let me save this. You can do that, but I'm going to have to walk you through how to print thumbnails. It would be File and Print, and you would choose, I oftentimes print the non-printing objects, blank pages, and visible guides for the sketches. I actually want to see my grids and guides when they come out on the printout. So I'll click on that stuff. On the setup, we'll just leave it letter, but you want to do thumbnails. Now in this case, if you want to if you want them scaled not too small, you could do a 2x2. Now these are about 4 inches by 4 inches square. Gives you a little bit more space to sketch in. Some people will go as small as 3x3. You know, thumbnails are supposed to be quick, small sketches, but at the same time, professionals do their sketches in a nicer way, maybe taking a little bit more of their time. All right, so here is a 3x3. I think I did mine in 2x2, and then I'm going to do mine as PDF here, but you hit print, and mine's going to make a PDF of the document. I'm going to say sketch layouts for sketching, or I'll say assets, really. That's what it is. And it also has my grid and all that. So when it's printed, it will look something like, let's find it. Oh, that's not the right folder, excuse me. It'll look something like what I'm about ready to show you, but in print form. All right, so here it is. So each page, each piece of paper, excuse me, each 8.5 by 11 piece of paper would have 4 layouts up. It does, because I told it to print visible guides and baseline grids and that kind of thing, it will show the margin elements, margin lines. It will also show the columns. Now, when I go to print the final or create the final, I don't leave that on. But you can see I have lots of imagery, well, not as much as I want because I didn't get the Haas Foundry or anything like that. But I have lots of things that I've been playing around with that I would consider to use for sketching. And you would not have to make this PDF if you're not printing it. You could just, you know, again, tape your tracing paper to your screen and, you know, just start sketching away.
So real quick, just to elaborate a little bit more. So we're not hand drawing these sketches. We're doing
Yeah, you will be. Yeah, I'm going to show you the next step, Miles. Yeah, I just use these for reference material so that I can sketch more accurately. Because what I'll be doing is actually tracing, using these to trace from.
So, so the thing that's due on Monday, is it just the sketches or is it the full assignment?
Just the sketches.
Just the sketches. Okay, that was something I was confused on because I think I read somewhere in the instructions it was like turn it in to be fully something. I don't know. I guess I lost track of that or something. But
that would be later, like week 4, day 2. Okay. Now I do need to modify these dates, guys. I did not take into account that Monday we do not come to class because of Labor Day. So I need to edit these dates. This means that you have technically extra time to do those sketches because we're not coming to class on Monday. So I need to modify this. This would be week 4, day, no. Let's see, this is week 3, day 2. Sketches would be due because of Labor Day. So week 3, day 2, next Wednesday, beginning class. So it gives you a little bit more time. We'll do some software demonstrations on week 4, day 1. We'll critique your sketches week 3, day 2. And then on week 4, day 2, we'll have first drafts, which will be done in InDesign. And then week 5, day 1. So I'm gonna have to push everything one day because I forgot about Labor Day. So I've got that fixed now. And then our actual deadline for the finished piece would be, let's see, this is week 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's week 5, day 1, the 21st. So I did have to change a couple of things here. Let's see, a week and a half, there we go, because of Labor Day. So congratulations, you have more time for sketches. All right, now let's go over sketching really quickly. I'm gonna switch the camera. I have a little document camera set up. What I would have you guys do, and I know you can't see this on my monitor, but you can possibly go to, on your Zoom list, there should, I know you can probably see me. If you can see my video, then you'll be able to see my other video, which is the cell phone video. So I'm gonna switch this over because this is about sketching. I've got my little fake document camera back here. So let me turn the lights on. And please pardon my setup, but it's totally different than what I do at school. We have a little system at school. So let me turn the light on. I'll stop sharing my video here. So I'll stop this because you don't really want to watch the back of me. And you'll still hear me though. And then what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to have, I'm going to turn on the video for that participant, which is my cell phone. Let me find this really quick. Hopefully it didn't go to sleep on me. There we go. So ask to start the video. Now you'll be able to see this. You may have to increase it though. Let's see, start my video. So I am going to actually, let's see, I've stopped screen sharing, I believe. Now it says you are screen sharing. Okay. Stop share. There we go. Now you should see a gingham tablecloth, red and white. Now if you click on that video, that live video, it says Bilberry Cell. You can then, I think, click on the little blue, should be a little blue box with 3 dots. And I think if you click on Spotlight Video, you'll see that it will make that large on your monitor. Now, I am recording, but I don't know that it's going to record this. I haven't tested that yet. So if you guys, again, click on the Bilberry Cell instead of my full name with the photograph, you will see printouts of, and you'll see Max and some type and a pen and a couple of mason jars and a ruler. My mason jars are my tripod right now. So they're filled with rocks and I had to use some MacGyvering methods to get this to work. So I'm going to, my microphone might be a little quieter because I'm going to move some stuff around and I'm going to start sketching. And I know we only have, about 20 minutes left here, but we should be able to do a few sketches and get this understood as to what we're doing. Okay, so here I am. That's my hand. Let me rearrange my furniture here. Switch my chair around. By the way, I have an old, really cool old 1950s chair. The thing weighs a ton though. And let's talk about sketching. Okay, first things first. I buy tracing paper by the roll. You don't have to buy it this way, but it's cheaper as far as in the long haul. So I tear this, or I cut these down to about 8.5 by 11 sheets. You do need some tracing paper. That would, like I said in the beginning, it's really good to have tracing paper. You can buy it also in pads, okay? So that's easy because you don't have to cut it down. I also mentioned that Sharpies are a good thing to have. So I use Sharpie a lot. Now, unfortunately, I don't think I can zoom in with this system here. So hopefully I'll be doing the best that I can here and get you what you need. Now I want to show you a technique. Let me pull a couple things together. By the way, here's all my tracing paper. It makes crinkly noise. I love that. It sounds like old, I don't know, when I was a kid, candy bars came in crinkly paper, so it kind of reminds me of being a kid. Okay, so let's say, for instance, I wanted to use this Max. For those of you guys who either you can draw or you can't, I don't know. But either way, I can share with you some techniques that'll help you out. If you were to take a printout or put a piece of tracing paper over your monitor and you were to carefully go over the most important parts of this graphic or this photograph and draw those out with a Sharpie, and this would be a new, nice Sharpie that bleeds really well.
Is that a fine tip or fat tip?
Well, if I have a bigger picture, I'll do the fat tip. But I'm doing the fine tip right now, but here's my fat tip. And here's my fine tip. So it's a small picture.
Which one you were using?
Yeah, since it's a small picture, I'm doing the finer tip, okay? If it were a little bit bigger, I might use my thicker tip, okay? Now, so I've done a little bit this before class to save time, but you can sit there and draw all the parts that are important on him. Now, what's going to happen here when you flip this over is you will have, let me zoom in this way, you'll start to have a little illustration of him. Isn't that cool? Maybe you've done that before. For those of you guys who say you can't draw, well, my guess is you could probably trace. Now, I could go over this if I'm going to use this in, say, Photoshop and do that little colorization exercise that I said was in the Juicy Tips. I might take the time to go over this very carefully with my marker again. He's kind of old, so I went ahead and gave him a few wrinkles here. But in the demonstrations on that, in the Juicy Tips section, basically what I had done is I'd already drawn something in this fashion. I traced it. Now guys, I can draw, but let me tell you, sometimes I don't have a whole lot of time. You know, the deadline's coming up real quick and I'm just in a hurry. By the way, I'm drawing sideways right now. I know it looks upright to you guys, but for me, I'm sitting sideways. So this won't be as good as if I were sitting upright. But at any rate, if you're in a hurry and you want to still have pretty good results, this is one way of doing it, okay? Now I'm going to stop drawing and I'm going to start using this for sketching. Looks like I could, next time I do one of these demos, I'm going to grab, I have these little grippers. I'm going to grab grippers that are a little shorter. These are a little tall. So I'll go in and do something like that. Now, these are a square format. Now here I've printed out a couple of samples. Let's say this one right here. So that has my alphabet in uppercase. It also has, in this case, I think it's got a 5-column grid. I know I did a 6-column grid on the demo, but this is the format. It's square. And I don't know if you can see it very well, but on the PDF I showed it. But on this, it's not going to be real easy to see. It's very, very light, but there's grid lines through here. Very, very, very light. Maybe if I kind of move in the shadows a little bit, I don't know. They're there, kind of like in the PDF I showed. Now, here's what I do. I will grab a piece of tracing paper and I'll put several sketches up on one piece of tracing paper. So in this piece of tracing paper, I could probably fit, you know, 1, 2, I could probably fit 6 sketches up, likely. So I'm going to start here in the corner, and I'm going to just trace the format. Now in this case, you can use a thin or thin tip. And I'm just going to draw this square for the page size. Doesn't have to be perfect. Now the sketches just need to communicate well. But you know, the thing of it is, if your lines aren't straight, nobody's going to go, oh my God, you know, why can't you draw straight lines? It's, you know, that's not the point. It's just getting things down pretty quickly. Now I'm going to, I don't know where to put the second one yet. I don't want to squeeze out its space. So I'm going to put my third one way over here, and then I'll figure out where the second one goes. So I'm going to draw 3 of these. Now you'll have multiple pages of sketches. And what we do with these sketches is we photograph them with our cell phones and make sure they're upright. Make sure they're not all crooked and upside down and sideways. And I also number these, because when you are showing them and talking about them, you want to say, well, sketch number 1, here's what I was thinking. Sketch number 2, here's what I was thinking, and so on. It's just easier to communicate that way. Now, because I don't want to have to struggle with that again, I'm going to fold this piece of paper in half. You guys, the tracing paper is a fabulous tool, and it's okay to fold it and do things that, you know, you might think it's not a fine piece of artwork, okay? It's okay to treat it a little bit rough. So I'm drawing 3 more. And again, I'm not using a ruler. I got a ruler right here, but I'm not using it. These are, you know, they're going to be fairly accurate, but not perfect. So you get all these squares drawn out on tracing paper. You see, this is why I use tracing paper. Whoops, that was pretty sloppy there. I use tracing paper because it saves me time, and just the nature of it being transparent or translucent, it really helps. Okay, so let's get back to this picture I had here. Okay, so I have Max. Now, this is actually, in the editorial world, this is flipped the wrong way. Maybe on the monitor here it's right, but I would, since I'm, I might flip this over also on the tracing paper. He's going to end up being, right now he's on the right, but I'm going to flip this and he'll be on the left. So because I've drawn him in the way that I did, I can quickly, and I mean quickly, guys, this is not going to look super good, okay? But you're going to be able to tell it's a dude that's got a guy with, you know, he might be balding. He's kind of got an intense look to him. This is almost gestural drawing in a way. One of the reasons why when I was in college, they had made you take a lot of fine arts classes is because they wanted you to be able to draw super quickly when it comes to time to like sketch your stuff. So we did gestural drawings. It's not stick figures, guys. Gestural drawings are not stick figures. Stick figures don't really show anything too much that are related to, I think I got his hand off. Oh no, I'm good. The stick figures just aren't really that acceptable. I don't know what's going on there. I thought that was his lapel, but here's his lapel. It doesn't matter. I'm getting it eventually. Maybe that's his tie. But the thing of it is, these don't need to be perfect, but we need to easily understand what's going on. There's the edge of his jacket. Here's his hand. And that's probably enough. Now, I'm going to flip this over because technically I want him coming in from the left. Now, let's say I want a headline on this guy. Well, I've printed out several samples of the word Helvetica in a few different typefaces. Now, I'm going to put this underneath here. And I'm going to fold this piece of tracing paper. I really love it when I have a lot more space, but you know, living in a tiny world, tiny cabin world. Okay, so I'm going to probably put that headline right about here. Now, if I were a little bit wiser, I might have done Max in a gray marker or even in pencil, because I really want Helvetica, the name, to be the prominent thing. Now you see why I print out all those assets and get those all ready. If I did this freestyle, it probably wouldn't even look anything like Helvetica. I wouldn't get the spacing right. This just makes it easy. I don't have to think, guys. I just have to do. You know, I'm thinking as well about composition. But with these sketches, they're pretty quick and they're fairly accurate, okay? Not super accurate. I'm not being super careful, but careful enough that it will look somewhat like the typeface, Helvetica. And I didn't run out of space here because I was careful in laying it out on the computer. Now I'll get it right here in a second. Now, maybe I had some inspiration from this little thing I talked to you about where you can crop layouts, 3 words. This was a Swiss vacation poster, actually, on skiing. And I love the idea of 3 words. So if I could pull out of the body copy 3 words, those might be, and by the way, I'm drawing sideways, so this is a little hard. Those might be, you know, timeless. Helvetica, timeless. Helvetica, popular. Might have a dot here, or even a little cross that looks Switzerland-like. And then, I don't know, I have to read the copy again, but one other word out here. So you see I do 2 lines and then squiggles. That indicates that that's a subheadline. So I got 2 lines and I don't know if you can see that very well. Those are 2 lines and squiggles. That just kind of mimics type. Now for the body copy, you know, I do have the thing I set on the computer. At this point, I might even go to that because the only thing I have for reference that I printed out is some pretty boring blocks of copy. But if that's what I have, I guess I could use it. At least I know where the copy falls. So here I'm going to go, you know, I don't want this to align. I am going to start it about at his head, but with a little space. Helvetica sans serif typeface of Swiss origin, okay? And Helvetica might be larger. And then because I go the contour of his head, this will shift over a little bit, and this will shift over, and so on, and so on. So it'll contour what's going on here with his head and his arms and his body and so on. Okay, and nothing aligns over here either. Okay, so this is maybe in the back, this is where I might use my gray marker or even a pencil. Bad thing about my pencil is it's probably gonna poke through my paper here. But if I have a lighter element, maybe I want the Swiss symbol coming in back here. I might draw that and it's just a cross, okay, very lightly. And then maybe that's gonna be kind of a red color. If I don't have, and it'll fade, you know, a little bit. But if I don't have markers, or color stuff, I can do it with pencil if it's a quieter element. And you may not be able to see that. This is why I don't necessarily like pencil sketches. You can't see them very well. So, you know, you have to kind of go over them. So for you to see that better, I may have to really put the pencil down and really lay down some lead. So this is one of, how many sketches are required? 25 or something like that?
25, yeah.
25. So this is one of 25 sketches. So here I have my finger underneath the Swiss flag type element. I also repeated that cross element between these words. I have Helvetica, the word, the headline, fairly large. It shouldn't be going downhill. I have a big picture of Edward and my type staggers, and I may still go ahead and emphasize things like Swiss, it's popular, I don't know where popular falls here, and so on. So that's one sketch of 25. The next sketch, I might use the same image, but usually I don't use the same image more than a few times. But the same image, I might use it, but in a completely different way. Let me just show you how some other approaches. For instance, we have this image here, right? Well, I did the same thing where I traced him with a marker. And then here, I'm not sure how well you can see that. Here, oh, it looks really bad with my hand underneath it, doesn't it? trying to just find a blank piece of white paper, and I printed front and back on these, so I'm trying to do my best to find something. Here we go. Whoops. There we go, that's better. So on this one, I have Max, and he's creating the typeface, or he's at least creating the headline. This is pretty rough. I would be a little bit more accurate here, but this has Helvetica, Swiss, and it has the indications of the body copy in there. It does not align. The other one, which I think I showed you last week, and I don't know if these are right reading or wrong reading when you're looking at them, but the other one is based off the Swiss flag, and I found imagery of that, traced it. The Matterhorn, the very popular mountain in the Swiss Alps, I put in the background. This is a blend in marker from blue to white. You could also do that in colored pencil. The word Helvetica is going up the edge. So I talked about this one, I think, on Monday. So there's another sketch. I think if I have any more. Here's a color version of what I did with this guy here, with that image. So here I made it red, the word Helvetica. Okay, so I just kind of duplicated one I already played around with. I lightened him quite a bit, so he's not as dark. I didn't want him to be, so loud. I really wanted the type to stand out, so I resketched this so that way you could see what I was planning to do with the color. And I know it's hard to tell, but there's a blue background in there. Helvetica's red here, Helvetica's red here. This type would be red, and everything else, he would be slightly subdued because I need to focus on Helvetica being the primary focal point. Now, these aren't necessarily too conceptual, at least this one, and that one. Not real conceptual, but they relate, things that relate directly. This one is considered more conceptual, kind of Helvetica is kind of this, Helvetica and Swiss, and then kind of having this sort of Swiss feel. Now, if you have done your research, you have found probably a number of things that are extremely popular where Helvetica is used exclusively. And some of that research, because I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. I could do all sorts of conceptual things here, but I don't want to give a lot of stuff away as far as ideas. I don't want to steal your thunder. So if you find certain ways Helvetica is used and you can connect two dots that normally most generally wouldn't be connected, but it makes sense because it's how it's used, you may have all sorts of different directions here. Now, Miles, you are the one that was very concerned about what are we doing here? I know this was kind of quick, but Miles, do you kind of have a better understanding of why I went through all that stuff I went through so that I could get to the sketching here? Miles, are you still here? I think Miles is gone. No, Miles is...
I'm still here. I tried to use the space to mic. I was in chat. Sorry.
Oh, okay, that's okay.
Yes, I see it. I do sadly have to start getting ready to go to work, but
I know class is over, isn't it?
Yeah. If there's anything that I missed, I'll just go back and rewatch the recording. I have work in like 30 minutes, so.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I know we're 5 minutes over, so hopefully this will give you an understanding. And I'm hoping this actually recorded the larger video of this. We'll
Yes.
see the processes. So for those of you guys who are like, why is she pulling all these assets together? This doesn't make a lot of sense yet. Well, I hopefully have come to the full circle and I've gotten to the point where it does make sense and showing you how I'm using those assets. All right, guys, are there any questions before we head out here? Hopefully,
no, thank you.
Oh, thank you, Miles, and I have fun at work. Sorry you have to work today. Any questions or anything? Any clarification on anything today?
25 of those, and those are due Wednesday?
Yeah, 25 of these, and they're due at Wednesday at 1 p.m. And then what I'll do is go ahead and photograph them with your cell phones, and then I'll walk through how to turn them in, okay? That'll take us a little minute, but it's our first time turning them in, so that'll take a little time, and we'll talk about how we also will critique them too, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, Jesselina. Any other questions? All right, guys, I did not intend to hold you after for 7 minutes, so my apologies. Maybe, we'll let out early another time. If there's no more questions, I'm going to end this and have a great afternoon, guys. Happy sketching.